How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be talking about Junji Ito Maniac. This is Season 1, Episode 7 of the Netflix show, and this one is entitled Toontown. This is based on manga by Junji Ito. However, sadly, in the States, we do not have an official version of this released. However, Viz's next Junji Ito story collection, I believe it's coming out in March, is entitled Tombs. So an episode called Toontown, next manga collection called Tombs. I'd be willing to bet that this is in there. Can't guarantee it, but fingers crossed, because looking at this episode, there are a few things that I do think definitely would read better in manga, and I really want to see what the original manga was like for this one, because I have a feeling it was probably pretty good. But anyway, in this episode, we get a brother and sister. They're going to see the sister's friend who lives in a new town. It's a little bit far away and kind of a strange, out in the middle of nowhere place. They're driving to the new town when they actually hit someone, and they decide she's already dead, I don't want to ruin my life, put her in the back trunk, and we'll hide this. If you guys are fans of I Know What You Did Last Summer, you'll probably like this setup, and if you like this setup and haven't seen it, go watch I Know What You Did Last Summer. But obviously, the outplay, what's going to happen next, is very different, because this is a Junji Ito story. They drive into this town, and in the town, they find tombstones everywhere, blocking the road. And it turns out this town has a very strange concept. Whenever you die, wherever you die, they bury you there and put a tombstone right wherever you died, just in the middle of public. There's your grave. And that's a really interesting idea, and I really did like this episode. The episode has a fun covering up a crime concept, a fun what if society did this concept, and then of course it leads to a fun Junji Ito reveal. And the Junji Ito reveal is pretty cool, why they're doing this, and what happens if you don't. Now that being said, towards the end of the episode, we do get some CGI that doesn't look the best, and that's part of the reason I really do want to read the original manga for this, because I can totally tell that this would look way, way better on paper. But also, I do want to say, this is the third of only 4 full-length episodes. I really do like full-length episodes. They give the story more time to breathe. You don't have to cut anything out. Sometimes you can even add more. I think Junji Ito stories, for the most part, deserve more time to breathe. There are obviously some that are way too short, but I do prefer standalone episodes. Although that being said, I kind of wonder why they picked this one. I am glad that the story got more room to breathe, but I don't really know why they gave it to this particular story, because I feel like with just a little bit of editing, this could have been the longer section of an asymmetric episode, and I am kind of curious why they chose it. Maybe it's a big story in Japan and they wanted to give it more flair by doing a full one? I don't know. Like I said though, I am always glad when we get full episodes though. Anyway, overall, I do like this episode, but with kind of the bad CGI at the end, and there are certain places that I do wish it was pushed farther, it's not my absolute favorite episode, but I do, in general, really like it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and analyze this a little bit more. I'm not going to be doing any major spoilers, but I do want to say my piece on a few plot points and make sure you guys have a basic understanding as to what this episode's about. We open up with a brother and sister going to see their friend in a new town when on a deserted mountain road they hit someone. Her face is all swollen and she's not breathing. And the brother says, if she's dead, there's nothing we can do for her anyway, and I don't want my life to get ruined because of this. If I can avoid it, let's avoid it. And they put her in the trunk and decide to cover up the whole thing. Their plan is to drive through the town that's just up ahead. That's where the sister's friend lives. Go through the town, find a nice spot in the country, bury her, and say nothing of it. Now, that being said, there's not a bunch of blood on their car, and there's no significant front-end damage. I would say the better way to go about this is to call the police and say that you found her like that. Someone else hit and ran her. You didn't do it. You just found it. That would, I think, be the better option, but whatever. Let's just bury her in the country. Of course, when they try to drive through this town, they're stopped. There's tombstones all in the road, and he can't make his way through. Now, I was a little worried that this would just be another case of guilt visions, you know, think like the Telltale Heart or something. But no, there is significantly more to it than that, and it is much more inventive and not just another case of guilt visions. He tries to back up, and he hits a tombstone, and that gets the attention of all the local people, and they explain the concept. Wherever you die, you're buried right there. And that is an interesting concept. All the tombstones in the road hint that there was a car wreck there at one point. They moved the cars, but the bodies went underground there. And they talk about how if you want to go through town, you gotta use the back streets, and you gotta know where all the car wrecks have happened, because those will be blocking the road. And yeah, that would be a huge pain in the butt. But I do like, you know, they eventually do meet the friend. There's actually a tombstone of the previous owner inside of her house. So it's kind of like, here's the inside of my house with a tombstone. And they also go to see the hospital, where they see the nurses dragging out a dying patient, and there's a big field behind the hospital that got turned into a graveyard, because this hospital's like, we can't have our hospital full of tombstones, so if someone looks like they're gonna go, get them out and don't let them die in the hospital. I thought that was a fun concept, and overall I do like this idea, you know, tombstones, a reminder of someone that died. What if we didn't shove them all in the corner? What if, you know, I mean, the spot where someone died is tragic, and you do see like memorials for car wrecks. What if they were always there, always reminding us? And I do really wish that this got pushed farther. I do wish we got to see more tombstones in inconvenient places that you had to walk around. Maybe if you had like a tombstone in a restroom or something, that would be funny. And I wish we got more tombstones telling interesting stories, but we only get a few of them. But anyway, of course, they're trying to hide the fact that they killed someone, and it turns out they shouldn't have moved her. They really don't like that in this town, and they say the spirit will never be at rest if she was moved. And when they're talking to the friend brings up, oh man, my sister hasn't been back in a while. I wonder where my younger sister is. And that's when the other shoe drops as far as the mystery setup. And of course, they have to be paranoid. Are they going to catch us? Will my younger sister, the main character's younger sister, will she crack? Will we be able to get out of this house scot-free? And of course, they hear about this sort of thing where they think they can, and it's going to turn out in an unexpected way, of course. And we do get some fun moments towards the end. Like I said, a little bit of bad CGI. But other than that, a lot of this episode does work. This sort of murder mystery from the criminal's perspective, like I Know What You Did Last Summer, trying to get away with a crime, very old school and Hitchcockian. But this interesting concept of burying someone right where they died, I really do like. You know, Junji Ito does a few stories like this of mysterious town with a custom that nowhere else has, and you have to go, why are they doing this here? You know, like in the Liminal Zone, there was the Weeping Woman story where a bunch of professional mourners were in just this one small town. I really like when he does this motif, and overall it's pretty cool. It is, you know, a strange choice for a longer episode. I wish they had given this to, say, like, Intruder and let the paranormal investigations breathe. I think it could have been a little bit of a faster edit, because a lot of the scenes are just people talking in the town and, you know, trying to cover up this mystery. I think this would have been a better choice for an asymmetric double episode, although I am glad to see it breathe. It could have been cut down, you know, so overall, not my favorite episode, but it had a lot that really did work for it. A really good story, but I do really want to see what Ito's original manga was about, because even though I like this one, I can tell that the source would probably be way better. So here's hoping it comes out in Tombs this March. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my Junji Ito playlist, where you can see my reviews of the past episodes of this series. I also did a manga guide for this series if you guys want to see where you can officially read the manga for this. I've also covered a ton of Junji Ito books, doing really in-depth reviews of those. And if you guys like these in my background, a Junji Ito Pocket Curse and this Acryl display, I've done unboxing for those in this Junji Ito playlist. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Junji Ito playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.